Hello everyone, this is Vikrant from Team AM. Looking all bright-eyed and oily bearded. Uh, and along with me is the strangest creature on God's green earth, Sushreeta Sue. Say hi, Sushreeta.
Hello, viewers. Please do not consider the randomness that Vikrant is.
So today we are in conversation with the author of the month for the month of June, Vrushali Telang. She's here with us.
Yay!
Uh, Before we begin, before I introduce Vrushali and we begin, this tete-a-tete, let's talk about the contest that's going to be held. One of the judges of that contest is Vrushali herself. So the contest is simple. We every month we have this magazine that we put out for our viewers, and for that we need content. So obviously the most obvious way to do this is through a writing contest. So every month we have a writing contest. The rules of which are simple. Rule number one: there's a theme to this contest. The theme for this month is the warrior within. That is the theme. So whatever articles that you're going to be sending out, the warrior within is going to be the theme of that article. There's a word count to this, which is 500 words or less. If you go above that, if you go for 501 words, you will be disqualified. um, the language is going to be English. The articles are going to be written in English because we need a common language. We cannot write in our mother tongues because not everyone will understand it. The final day of entry is the 20th of June, 2020, and your submissions have to be sent on our email ID, the link to which is given in the description below. So please get writing and give us the chance to read your awesome stuff. So the final 10 will be selected by a panel of judges, two of which are me and Sushrita. But the most important judge of this on this panel will be Vrushali Telang herself, the author of the month. And the winners will get a chance to attend a workshop conducted by Vrushali, whether via Zoom or at a physical location. We do not know because we do not know what the state of this lockdown is at this moment. So that's that. Make this opportunity your own. Use this as a platform to boost your writing talent. And we cannot wait for us to read your work. So with that, let's begin our main event, which is our conversation with author Vrushali Telang. Now, Vrushali, you started your career as an entertainment reporter, working for CNBC TV 18 and NDTV. Then you also produced shows for MTV before leaving all that to pursue your lifelong dream of becoming an author. Your first book, which was Primetime Crime, is at the backdrop of the Mumbai Mafia, which is based in 1999. And you've also written books like He Loves Me Not and Can't Die for Size Zero, which I'm sure all other members of this panel will understand. Uh, and you're also forayed into screenwriting for TV and movies, and you've done the research for Daddy about Mumbai in the 70s and 80s. By the way, Daddy being my like top five favorite mafia movies of all time. It would be the top, but The Godfather ruined that for everyone. So excited, Vishali, get started.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here. And it's really an honor and a privilege to get to talk to so many people via the two of you all. So thank you for thinking of me.
Thank you for accepting the offer to be the author of the month. So, to begin with, let's start with one of my favorite questions that I like to ask. So, during this lockdown that we are going through, life has become monotonous, right? but everyone has those one or two things that they like to do to keep their sanity during these difficult times. I like to call it, my fortress of solitude,
Right.
because I'm a big Superman fan that way. So in my case, it's cooking. I love to cook, and it keeps me sane. In case of Sushreeta, it's her arts and crafts that keeps her sane. So, what would you define as your fortress of solitude, so to say?
So this is something that I've not only been doing in the lockdown. Actually, it's two things. So it's not something I've been doing in the lockdown, but I've done it on a regular basis. One of them is journaling. I've been journaling since 2011, and I journal practically every day. I get up in the morning, and it is a method that I learned from Julia Cameron, who had written The Artist's Way. And it's basically, 3 pages which you write longhand, not, you don't type it, but you write with a pen, and you just journal your thoughts. And that is something that keeps me sane, that keeps me rooted. And if I feel I'm sinking into any kind of negativity, it's the journaling that helps. It also sometimes gives you perspective, not always, but sometimes it gives you perspective. But I actually use journaling like, an ablution. How we wash ourselves, or we brush our teeth in the morning. I also journal in the morning, because it's all the conscious nagging thoughts that go into the journal, and then I don't read them. I don't read it at all. And now that my daughter is grown up, and I think that she can read my journal, so I actually tear the pages and I throw them away. So, but this is something that I do practically every day.
Wow, that's really amazing. So me being a psychologist, I have always recommended things like journaling. So there is a concept known as a thought diary, wherein I encourage my clients or patients to pen down their thoughts so that I'm able to help them in the process view their thoughts objectively and get some sort of clarity on that. So in keeping with my question to you, Vrushali, is that how would you as an individual define mental health?
See, I feel that if you, whatever you're going through, you could be going, whatever it is, it could be anxiety, it could be depression. But for me, mental health is when you get up in the morning and you are positive about the day. You know that today is a new day. Yesterday went by. I'm going to make the most of it. Even if you can bring yourself to think that today I'm going to try and make the most of it, that according to me is a positive look at somebody going through a mental health issue.
Wow, that is a very interesting outlook on your definition of mental health, because a lot of people that I ask this question to tend to look at it from an illness perspective, and they don't tend to look at it from a wellness or a relatively optimistic point of view. So thank you so much, Vrushali, for that answer.
No, I'd just like to add here. I'd just like to add
Sure,
here.
sure.
Now, this could be, for instance, in terms of a recover, not even a recovering addict, I would say, but somebody like I've read Narcopolis, so I kind of know what an addict could go through. Jital's Narcopolis, where you get up in the morning and you say, "I'm not going to do it today," and it actually starts on a fresh note. So you could take maybe one baby step, two baby steps that towards your mental health, towards your mental well-being, something that makes you happy. And I think that is up to each and every one of us. We owe it to ourselves to find out that one thing that makes us happy. It could be cooking, it could be singing. Nobody needs to hear you, but just singing could make you happy. Just that one thing to find, that I'm going to do this little pocket for myself.
Yes, absolutely. It's a very important part of mental wellness is that doing that little something truly and only for yourself, without keeping into consideration anything and anybody else. My next question to you, Vrushali, then would be, uh, since we are the Art and Mind Project, I would like to bring a slightly artistic question in front of you. Um, what metaphor would you use to describe mental health or the state of your mind?
It's like the river. It's flowing, always flowing like a river, constantly.
Okay.
And of late, because of the journaling, it's like a river going through the plains where it's calm, it's peaceful, it's sedentary, it's enjoying the moment. Whereas when I started journaling in 2011, it was literally like, uh, at the stage of a waterfall, I was just going down, and I was just going down and down and down, and it was like this gushing waterfall back in 11 and
Uh-huh.
12. But now,
Okay.
because of my journaling, I'm just like this big, fat, beautiful river flowing through the plains and trying to give joy to whoever comes my way.
That looks like a very serene picture.
Peaceful.
Yes, yes, it does sound very, very peaceful. So, from the peaceful to a little not so peaceful, you have
Of
forayed
course.
into what the genre that is true crime, with books like Primetime Crime, and also like Daddy was a true crime story in itself. So there is this whole thing that in true crime, obviously, violence is the bread and butter of that genre, and so there is this fine line between when you're depicting violence, it can easily cross that line and become a glorification of that violence. So as an author, how do you tackle that tightrope walk between depicting violence and glorifying violence in in a true crime story?
uh, the the way one does it is, one takes responsibility, and it is my responsibility to not glorify. As an intelligent human being, as a creative person, it does become your responsibility to know what message you're sending across, and one has to be, every decision that you take has to be a very conscious decision, and it's really something that you take it upon yourself that, okay, this is how it is, this is how gritty it gets. And and I've done that with both my mafia related works, where I've actually said that it's a one-way street. There's no coming back. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's manipulative, and so that message has to be very consciously sent by the writer or the creator of the work. You have to be very even when you're interviewing people, you have to be very clear that yes, I want to get information, but I cannot be drawn by these people, because that's not the agenda. The agenda is to, of course, it's a fictional world, but to also give the reality behind it, and research helps in that a lot. I think research plays a very, very important role in not glorifying what should not be glorified, like violence.
Yeah. But like if we've seen like most of the Martin Scorsese films, if you've seen the mafia related Martin Scorsese films, he has been accused of doing that, glorifying the mafia world. But in the case of Daddy, it was so finely written. You are on the side of that character that Arjun Rampal is playing, but at the same time you know that it is wrong. So this is something that I found very interesting about that movie itself. That you are showing the character's point of view, but at the same time you're not shying away from the fact that that character is wrong. He's a criminal.
But I've not written Daddy. What I've done for Daddy is I've
Yeah.
done research for Daddy, because
No,
I've
no,
done
but no,
research
no.
for Primetime Crime.
Yeah. No, no, I'm not. I'm not saying that it's because you've written daddy per se, but the train of thought is something that I find interesting, and you being part of the team, one of the team. What was the I found it very interesting that the team found that balance, that perfect balance between not shying away from the violence of that situation, but yet showing it in such a way that it's wrong. You're not glorifying it. You're just depicting it for what it is.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so speaking of screenwriting as well as so you've always also forayed into screenwriting along with you started your journey as an entertainment reporter. So what are the mental rigors that go along with those jobs and those fields in itself?
The mental rigors of a reporter, of an entertainment reporter, or
Often not
basically
just
working in
no, no,
television.
Yeah, as well as screenwriting as well, because those are two different fields. That
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
So see the rigor in entertainment reporting or reporting, so as to say, actually it's not a rigor. I think it's the best thing to happen to an aspiring writer, because you have to write every day. And suddenly there's a discipline, and if you're doing a daily, which I was doing, daily news, one had to put in one or two stories every single day. We were writing practically every day. I don't even remember a day that I did not write. So the mental rigor in that space essentially would be then to be able to churn out interesting words. You know, I think that the biggest sin a writer can do is write boring stuff, is write banal stuff, things that you've already heard, things that have already been said. So in that particular sense, one needs to read a lot. One needs to be comfortable with wordplay, and your scripts have to be short, quick, packed with information, and yet your own style. That the rigor as a writer, as a reporter, would be to have your own style. That certain edginess that comes in writing would be the rigor of uh, you know when one is reporting, probably telling your story, not in the same way, not in that but bringing something fresh to it, bringing fresh words to your story, is something that I would say for an entertainment television reporter. Where screenwriting is concerned, essentially, I don't know if there are. I've never worked in a situation where there have been more writers. So it's and it's essentially been with the director. I've done one film called My Birthday Song, which has been with the director. So one needs to, and there have also been films which did not see the light of day. But that was mainly you talking to your director, finding out what is it that he's looking at, bringing something new. Your idea could be, your idea could be just squashed, but that does not stop you from bringing out more ideas. It then no longer becomes about meri idea nahi. You're constantly coming up with things. If you're working with a director, if you're working completely on your own, which I also have for my screenplays, the rigor there would be to do it every single day. It's not to say ki acha theek hai, I'm writing, so I will write when inspiration strikes. I don't write like that. I don't know when inspiration strikes. I think it's a myth. So it's again the discipline of writing every day is something that would be the rigor in writing. I love writing. I don't see it as a rigor. So that's the only thing I could think of.
Okay, wow, that was some real great perspective into a lot many things that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to look at from this point of view. Understanding people's minds has always been something that has fascinated me, and hence I have gotten into the field of psychology and mental health. And being a part of this field, I have seen a lot of struggle for us as mental health professionals in breaking down the stigma. And I have my mentor, Dr. Harish Shetty, who's a senior psychiatrist, and he always says that mental health is too important to be left to mental health professionals alone. So that is one of the reasons why, Vrushali, my question to you is, um, what would you like to say, or what would you like to convey to our viewers, or what is the message that you would like to give to all the people out there about the stigma associated with mental health, and how would you like to contribute in sort of bringing down the stigma towards mental health?
So yes, there is stigma attached to mental health, especially in the Indian context. Uh, but what I have to say is, if someone has diabetes, you go to a doctor and you take regular medication. Someone who has thyroid goes to a doctor and takes regular medication. So if there is a mental health issue, forget what your family thinks of you, okay, and forget what your friends think of you. Acknowledge, I have this issue. Just acknowledge it yourself, and remember that you are worth spending time on. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am worth taking care of. I am worth going and seeking help. After that, go and yes, I personally, if you ask me, I feel mental health, professional professional mental health services are extremely important. I was just talking about this to Vikrant also, because I am not very sure if people are very good listeners. And I'm saying this from experience. Most of the times when you're having a conversation with a person, I hope they're well meaning, but it's usually the conversation is to tell you something back, to say something back, to say, that smart alecky answer. Arey nahi yaar, hota hai, dismissing it. Under so A, realize that yes, this is an issue. You definitely need help. There is absolutely no stigma attached to it. I have personally been through it in 2011, like I said, when I took up journaling. And talk to a mental health professional. I think that, I mean, if you had diabetes, would you, take care of it on your own? Would you talk to your mother about it? No, you would go to a doctor. So I definitely feel, and yes, of course, talk to your friends and family. And if you get somebody who's well-meaning, bingo. If you really get someone who's listening to you and getting it, getting you, and especially in a place like Mumbai, most of the people don't have time. So I think that with a mental health professional and with things like journaling, the creative arts, my writing helped me a lot. My writing helped me a lot when I was going through a mental health problem. I was going through postpartum, by the way, and I'd also gotten to know that
Oh,
I had cancer at the same time. So one was postpartum, along with the knowledge that and her cancer had resurfaced back. I was going and I was caregiving for my mother-in-law. So completely down the abyss. I didn't know what to hold on to. What I held on to was journaling, uh, because there was a stigma attached back then. So so one was journaling, and the second was writing a novel, where I said, okay, I hardly get any. As a new mother, you get very little time. So if I'm going to get 30 minutes, I'm going to have fun in these 30 minutes. I'm going to write something in, and I'm going to write 100 words in these 30 minutes. So 100 words, like I said, every morning you get up and say, okay, just this much for myself,
right.
and move on. But now the stigma is much less. So I really urge you to go and see more than talking to love.
Thank you so much, Vrushali, for that very encouraging response. And I'm sure it is. That's the reason why we decided to create the AMP, because arts and mental health are something that are a beautiful combination that can actually help a person care for themselves and eventually get up and out from whatever it is that has been bothering them, and become a better version of themselves, if I may use the term. My next question to you, Vrushali, would be, considering the way that you have been describing about your method of working, your nature as a person and a professional, I would like to ask you, what is the most fascinating thing that you find to be about your mind?
So the most fascinating thing about my mind is that you know it's extremely fertile. When I say fertile, what I mean is that I'm extremely non-judgmental, uh, which is why I find that people can trust me and tell me their deepest, darkest secrets, which I do during an interview, because they know that I'm not judging them. So, and this is something I learned very consciously. See, it's not, you're human. You are going to have likes and dislikes and, judgments, but, to constantly tell yourself that no judging, no judging, no judging. And yeah, and people get it. People are also smart. Now, intuitively, people also get it. I can tell her. And I've noticed this, that people will tell me things they wouldn't mention to other people, and that is because A, they know that I'm not going to talk about it or gossip about it. Uh, Secondly, it's so basically, uh, I have no preconceived notions about how things should be and should not be. Uh, I will look at you and I will ask things to you, and and I want to be surprised by something that teaches me something about my writing. And it's something that came to me because of writing fiction. Because even when you're writing fiction, you're supposed to, if it has to be authentic or at least sound authentic, you need to interview people, you need to speak to people. And how do you get people to trust you? How do you get somebody who's done something bad to trust you and say, hey, yeah, I did something wrong? It's because he or she knows that you're not judging them. So so what I love about myself is that I don't judge people about my mind.
Yes, and I'm sure people love that about you too. Yes, they do. Coming back to the contest in itself, you are one of the 3 judges of this contest, and yes, and one of the most important of the 3 judges. So, as a judge, what message would you like to give to the prospective contestants of this contest? Like, what would you hope to see when you are reading their submissions?
Write your story. Do not try and be somebody else. Don't try and be the Indian Sydney, the Indian Jonas. Jonas for okay. Thing is, just be yourself. Tell me your story. Say it in a way that has probably never been said before. If the sentence has been, you've heard the sentence before time and again, you don't need to say it. Write fresh words. Again, fresh does not mean big words. I'm just saying, say things in a fresh way and definitely be true to your story. The one tip that I can give you when you're writing is that when you are writing, and if it seems untrue to you, or you seem, I'll give you an example. I was writing for the Commonwealth Writers short story contest, and I realized at the end of that, I wrote the short story for a month. I realized at the end of that, I'm trying to fit in to the contest. I have not written, this is not what Vrushali would write if she just had to write, and I didn't submit that story. So definitely write, and you will know as a writer, you're an intelligent human being. You will know when your voice is correct, is your authentic voice, or मुझे जोनेस वो बनना है, मुझे चेतन भगत बनना है, whatever. Write your voice. That's the tip that I'd like to.
That truer words have never been said. Yes. Yeah. Like if you're not being, as a writer, if you're not being true to yourself, there's no point in writing.
Yeah. Because anyways, writers don't make much money. Only the top brass makes money. Otherwise, you don't. So you might as well write what you really want to write. And don't quit your day job just to be a writer. Please don't make that mistake.
Alright. This was an amazing interview. Thank you so much, Vrushali, for getting on board with us to be the author of the month for the AMP. And we really appreciate you taking out the time from your schedule and choosing to be a part of this. So thank you so very much.
So Sushreeta, thank you so much. And Vikrant, thank you so much. These questions really made me think. They were smart questions, and it wasn't the usual author questions that most authors get. I wish you all the best with AMP, and you guys are doing great work. So do let me know if I could be of any help anytime. God bless you guys.
Thank you.
You're already being such a big help by consenting to be the author of the month. So taking from there, to all our viewers, please make sure that you send in your entries by the 20 of June, no later. Again, 500 words, again English language. And Vikrant, would you care to share the theme of the month again?
The warrior within.
Right. So the theme of this month is the warrior within. Also, make sure you're following us on all our social media. We're there on YouTube, we're there on Facebook, we're there on Instagram. The links to which are given below in the description. So make sure you just go and find us. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we are putting our content on YouTube. And yeah, just please go ahead, show us some love, share the message that we are trying to so forthcomingly put across, and give people a safe haven to be themselves. And please go ahead and share this message far and wide. And signing off, we are Team Am.